Last week, a man stepped on someone's foot in the subway. "I'm sorry," he said. That same day, at home, he yelled at his dog. He didn't apologize. I don't know what the dog felt, but I know this. That man couldn't show the creature he claimed to love the courtesy he showed a stranger. Here's your first explosion. The human soul is not a coherent entity. It is a council of warring gods. Right now, as you listen to me, at least 7 different voices are speaking inside you. One is saying, "This is nonsense." Another is curious. Someone else wants to check their phone. One of them is ashamed, doesn't even know why. And the most dangerous one is watching. Ancient Egyptians believed the heart had to be weighed before entering heaven. But have you ever thought, whose heart? The person who woke up in bed this morning? The person who talked to their boss at noon? Or the person who, at midnight in the darkness, sits alone with thoughts no one sees? I assure you, they are all different people. Do an experiment right now. Ask yourself, how many times did I lie today? If you say, I didn't, there's your first lie of the day. This morning you told someone, I'm fine. Lie. In the meeting you said, I understand. You didn't. You found your friend's new haircut very nice. You didn't. But the biggest lie is the one you tell yourself, I'm an honest person. Philosopher Harry Frankfurt in On Bullshit makes a lethal distinction. A liar knows the truth, says the opposite. But the bullshitter, he doesn't even care about the truth. Now I'll ask you this, what percentage of your life do you actually care about the truth? The human soul is a palimpsest, a parchment written over, erased, and written over again. Every layer a lie, every lie a reality. You tell your mother, I love you, is that a lie? Both yes and no. Maybe you love her in that moment. But yesterday when you wanted to yell at her, that was real too. The man in Dostoyevsky's Notes from Underground says, acute consciousness is a disease, because the more aware you become, the more lies you see. And eventually you understand this, there is no coherent see. And eventually you understand this, there is no coherent self. 1961, Stanley Milgram conducts an experiment. Ordinary people, at the command of an authority figure in a white coat, agree to punish someone they can't see with electric shocks up to lethal levels. Then they all go home, kiss their children, and sleep believing they are good people. Here's Jung's shadow for you. But no one has told you this concept correctly. The shadow is not your bad side. The shadow is everything you reject. And here's the plot twist. Your shadow doesn't just contain your murder fantasies. Your genius is there too, your courage, your passions. When you were little, you loved to sing. Someone laughed, you shut it down. That song went into the shadow. In high school, you were painting. Your father said nonsense. That brush went into the shadow. The poet inside you, the dancer, the lover, the rebel, all in the shadow. But there's a terrifying part too. You're thinking of Hitler, aren't you? I would never. Stop that sentence. Philip Zimbardo's Stanford prison experiment, normal university students, randomly given the guard role, turned into torturers within 6 days. The experiment had to be terminated early. So monsters don't live among us. The monster visits when conditions arise, and it knocks on every door. Why is facing the shadow so difficult? Because when you recognize it, you understand this. The difference between your bad day and a serial killer's good day is much, much smaller than you think. Brain scans show this. Childhood neglect causes deeper damage than physical abuse. Because when you're beaten, at least your existence is acknowledged. But neglect? That says as if you don't exist. Trauma is not what you remember. It's often what you don't remember. Gabor Mate says, the child doesn't ask what's wrong with my father. He asks, what's wrong with me? And this question, like a virus, infects your entire life. Now here's the truth. Everyone watching this video has trauma. If you're saying, my childhood was beautiful, either you're very lucky, or more likely, your trauma has been so normalized that you mistook it for love. An example, your mother did everything you wanted, never upset you, perfect mother. But now, at 30, you can't say no. Because what you learned was, expressing your needs is selfishness. This is also trauma. Another example, your father never praised you. He'd always say, you can do better. Now you're an executive at Google, but you still feel inadequate. That's trauma. And the most painful part, trauma passes through generations. Epigenetic changes have been detected in the grandchildren of Holocaust victims. So your grandfather's fear is in your DNA. But here's hope, neuroplasticity. The brain can change. But only under this condition, you have to feel the pain. You can't suppress it, you can't analyze it, you can't analyze it, you have to feel it. And most of us spend our lives avoiding doing this. Who do you think you are? Your name. Someone else gave you your name. Your profession? That's also a social label. Your thoughts? Where did you learn them? In Buddhist teaching, there's the concept of anatta. The self is an illusion, and neuroscience confirms this. Michael Gazzaniga's split brain experiments, when the two halves of the brain are severed, patients exhibit two different personalities. The left hand wants to do one thing while the right hand blocks it. So which is the real person? Answer: both, or neither. The human soul is the ship of Theseus paradox. Your cells completely renew every 7 years. Not a single atom of you today is an atom of you from 10 years ago. So are you still you? The ego creates the illusion of continuity. It says, I was me yesterday, I will be me tomorrow. But this is a story, a very useful story, but still a story. Here's where Sartre comes in. Existence precedes essence, meaning you exist first, then you decide who you are. This is a terrifying freedom, because there's no excuse. You can't say, this is how I am, because there's no such thing as I, only choices. And most of us flee from this freedom. We read horoscopes, take MBTI tests, say, I'm an INTJ, as if this is an identity. But the truth is, you can't fit into a category, because you're not a category, you're a process. Every day, every moment, you're recreating yourself. And most of the time, you're making a bad copy of yesterday's version. Hell is other people, says Sartre. But he said it incompletely. Heaven is other people too, because only in another people too. Because only in another person's eyes do you truly exist. Lacan's mirror stage, when a child first sees itself in a mirror, it rejoices, because for the first time, it looks whole. But this is an illusion. A mirror never shows you your truth. It shows you the reverse. And human relationships, they're all mirror games. You think you love your partner. But what do you really love? You love WHO you are when you're with them. If they leave, what you love, that version of yourself, leaves too. Projection, psychology's most powerful concept. Everything you see in the person you love is a reflection of something inside you, and everything you hate is too. They're so selfish, you say. Really? Or are you seeing the selfishness you've suppressed in yourself? Rumi's famous words, don't go outside, return to yourself. Truth lives in the corner within man. But here's the problem, you can't enter your own corner, because every time you enter, you become someone else. The paradox is this, we only exist within relationships. But relationships obscure our own truth. Did Robinson Crusoe on his deserted island know who he was? No. Because identity is a social product. And love? Ah, love. Love is two people's neuroses dancing together. You say they complete me. No, they fill your void. This isn't sustainable. Because another person can never be your missing piece. True love might be this, two complete people, being complete, choosing to be together. But how many people are complete? How many people even want to be complete? Camus says, there is only one truly serious philosophical problem, suicide, meaning, is life worth living? And most of us never ask this question, because we fear the answer asks this. Viktor Frankl learned in Auschwitz, meaning changes everything. In the same camp, under the same torture, some survived, some collapsed. The difference? Meaning. But where is meaning in the modern world? God is dead, Nietzsche was right. Traditions have collapsed. Community has dissolved. What's left? Success, money, like counts. And you wake up at 40, you're a CEO, you're rich, you're famous, and you're empty inside. Because none of these things are meaning, they're distractions. Frankl's logotherapy meaning is chosen, not found. You don't wait, you create. But here's the scary part, you can choose any meaning. Serial killers have found meaning for themselves. Terrorists, too. Meaning is not ethical, meaning is existential. What's your meaning? If you say, I don't know, here's the truth, you know. But you don't accept it, because your meaning might not receive social approval. Maybe your meaning is making art, but it doesn't make money. Maybe your meaning is living alone, but society finds it strange. Maybe your meaning is living alone, but society finds it strange. Maybe your meaning is doing nothing. Nietzsche, he who has a why to live can bear almost any how. But these days, no one asks why. Everyone asks how. How do I get rich? How do I get happy? How do I succeed? Wrong questions. Because success is a dream society sold you. It's not your dream, so here we are. The video is ending. And what have you learned? You've learned nothing, because you already knew. You knew everything. I just said it. The human soul is not a puzzle to be solved. I just said it. The human soul is not a puzzle to be lived.